Cool But Rude was one of the most hyped up cards from the TMNT set when it released, and that's for good reason. The card is super powerful and does some crazy stuff. However, I have since shied away from making a video about this card because something just didn't feel right to me. However, behind the scenes, I have been playing the card quite a bit, trying different variations of these decks, and I think I finally found a deck that feels good. So that's what we're going to be playing today. Let's talk about what's going on in this deck. And I guess we should talk about the namesake card first and foremost. Cool But Rude, a 2 CMC enchantment class. Whenever you attack, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Simple enough. Then for 2 more mana, we get it up to level 2, and this is where the magic happens. Whenever you discard a card, this class deals 2 damage to each opponent. So we're basically built around this idea. We have a lot of low to the ground aggressive creatures. We are going to be discarding in various ways to get various value out of our deck. And then if we have the Cool But Rude on level 2, we'll be getting some extra value out of this card. There's also level 3, which is an expensive gamble, essentially. Pay 2 mana when this class becomes level 3. Search your library for a card, put it in your hand, shuffle, then discard a card at random. So we can go find something that we want and take our chances that it doesn't get discarded from our hand. Or we go and grab something that we don't mind being discarded, and then we get the trigger on level 2. We get to discard something we wanted to do, and then go from there. Now, the rest of the deck has a lot of moving parts, and I'm going to try my best to go over them quickly. In this row, we essentially have cards that are threats to the opponent. Moonshadow, fantastic on turn 1. It keeps growing and growing and growing every time we put a permanent card into our graveyard. It also has Menace. This thing is often winning me a lot of games. Marauding Mako, most of the time also a fantastic 1 CMC play. Hits the field every time we discard. It gets a little bit bigger. The opponents have to deal with it, or it's going to smash in their face. We can also cycle it in some pinches, but for the most part, I find myself playing it to the field so it can grow. Fear of Missing Out is an interesting card in the deck because it does have a delirium ability, but I think for the most part, we really care for it being a 2/3 body that discards a card and draws a card when it enters. That's mostly what I'm finding myself using it for. The amount of times that I'm able to hit the delirium is few and far between. Inti is also a very interesting card. This thing can be a huge threat. It's a 2/2 for 2. Whenever you attack, you may discard a card. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on a target attacking creature, and it gains trample until the end of turn. So if we have like a big Marauding Mako, for example, attacking in, and we have an Inti on the field, well, we can give the Marauding Mako trample and a little bit more juice. And hey, who doesn't like that? But whenever you discard a card, 1 or more cards, and this applies anytime we discard a card, we get to exile the top card of our library. We get to play that card until the end of our turn or until the end step. This is a little bit awkward sometimes because the exile card is a card that sometimes we want, but then it stays in the exile limbo if we don't have enough mana to cast it out or whatever. I find most of the time it is okay, but there are plenty of times where it just feels a little bit awkward. So very powerful card in the deck, but one of the cards that I think does take a little bit of finagling to make it work in the actual gameplay. Casey Jones, 2 copies of it. This is one of the cards that I think a lot of people have been going back and forth on with this deck, whether or not they want to include it or not include it. And honestly, this card has won me so many games. This thing is insane. It's a 4/3 for 3. The 4 power is relevant for another card we'll talk about in a minute. And then when it enters, draw 3 cards. Cool. Gives you some gas. However, at the beginning of your next upkeep, discard 3 cards at random. So a lot of the time with Casey Jones, I'm finding myself drawing 3 cards and then immediately discarding those 3 cards. But it doesn't really matter because if you have these other cards on the field, for example, like a Moonshadow or a Marauding Mako or a Cool But Rude, suddenly discarding all of those cards is just gonna win you the game because you either have huge attackers now or you've been hitting the opponent for 6 damage out of nowhere. So Casey Jones, pretty sweet. I like it a lot. And then the last card is Desecrex. I believe this is a Hobgoblin, maybe? I don't know the actual Universes Beyond card, but through the Omen Path version is Desecrex. This thing is only a 1 of in the deck, and honestly, I kind of feel like it should be going up to 2 copies of it because this thing has been so impressive. It's 4/3 for 4, trample. When Desecrex enters, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains this creature attacks each combat if able, and when this creature deals combat damage to a player, sacrifice it. So we get to revive something from our graveyard. Usually we want to be reviving something like maybe a Casey Jones, a Fear of Missing Out, maybe the Flamewaker Phoenix, and then attacking in for 1 freebie attack. We also get a 4/3 Trampler out of it. But the real gravy that comes from this card is the fact that it has Mayhem black, and a red. So we can discard Desecrex at some point and then just play it out for 2 mana. 2 mana Desecrex, it sounds pretty good to me. So these are all of our threats. Next, we have cards that we like to discard. Let's go to these cards. Bloodghast, we want to be putting into our graveyard because if we play a land, we can put it from our graveyard back on the field. And then Flamewaker Phoenix, if this is in the graveyard, we can pay 1 red and we can return it to the battlefield and it attacks because it has haste and flying. It has to attack each turn. This is really good with Casey Jones because Casey Jones has the built-in 4 power. Desecrex also 4 power. So if we have those on the field, Flamewake Phoenix can come back. Then a lot of our creatures don't have 4 power. You know, Moonshadow might be at a 1/1, 2/2. Marauding Mako, same thing, 1/1, 2/2. Fear of Missing Out is a 2/3. Inti is a 2/2. Well, now we have Bloodthorn Flail. This thing gives +2/+1 power, so it gets all of our creatures basically up to 4 power. Works really well with the Flamewake Phoenix. And on top of that, the Bloodthorn Flail is our repeatable discard ability. If this is on the field, we can equip it for 3 mana or we can discard a card. We can do this as many times as we want as long as we have a creature on the field to equip the Bloodthorn Flail to. That means, let's say the opponent's at 6 life, we have a Cool But Rude on the field, and we have a creature and a Bloodthorn Flail, but we can't really attack in for various reasons. Well, if we have 3 cards in our hand, we can just keep equipping the Bloodthorn Flail to that same creature 3 times in a row, discard those 3 cards, and kill the opponent. Iron Shield Elf also works the same way. This is a repeatable discard effect in our deck. This creature gains indestructible until the end of the turn, and we have to tap it if we discard a card. We can do this as many times as we want at instant speed, and same thing kind of applies. Bloodthorn Flail is sorcery speed, though, because it is an equipment. And then the last 2 cards are a little bit of removal. Over in the sideboard, we have a bunch of stuff. I'm still working on the sideboard, trying to figure it out to make it match my style. Duress is always good against control decks. A little bit more removal with Bitter Triumph. Some graveyard hate with Strategic Betrayal. Pyroclasm to be able to blow up opponents who are going wide and small. Think Badger Mokub or maybe some of the artifact decks. You might be seeing that a little bit more these days. Toka and Razar are pretty interesting cards. I actually haven't played them yet, but I like the concept behind them. This spell can't be countered, so we can bring it against our control opponents, and it has menace, and whenever a player casts a spell, if an amount of mana to cast the spell was less than its mana value, this thing does 3 damage to the player. So if, let's say, we go up against Lessons, and they have the discount because of various things in their deck, like Gran, well, suddenly their 2 CMC spells that cost them 1 are going to be dealing or causing them to take 3 damage. And then Thari Revenant is the last one to round things out, just for a little bit of lifelink against aggressive opponents. So that's the deck. We're going to jump into some games, see how it plays out, and hopefully I don't mess up some of these lines because I'm a little bit afraid of playing this deck on camera. Wish me luck. See you over there. Cam is our first opponent, trying out Cool But Rude. At the bottom of Platinum, ladder just reset, and opening hand looks good. Thank goodness, because I will say in the playtesting of this deck, opening hands, not so great. I kind of find that this deck loves to give me just 1 land hands, and the deck is weird. We don't want to flood out too much. Any deck, oh duh, okay. You want to draw just enough lands. Where this deck is good is when you draw 3 to 4 lands. You really do not need any more than 4. The opponent says, I do apologize, because he's such a gentleman. What a cool person. Fear of Missing Out. We throw away our Flamewake Phoenix, draw the 4th land, which is okay. Starting town, we can put it onto the field. Burst Lightning. Burst Lightning? Oh. Opponent. Let's blow them a kiss. That, I don't think that's really where you want to be as the opponent, using Shock, Burst Lightning on your opponent's early creatures. And now we get to actually, okay, we have a pretty good board. Ooh, that's a good draw. Hello. I gotta take 1 more point of damage. The opponent giving us the nice deck. Nice deck to you, opponent. We are a little bit strapped on black mana, but I think it's okay. I'm not going to play out this mountain because I think probably in the near future I might need to discard it to something. Like, I don't need 3. Oh, the opponent is really chatty over there. I love it. Let's give him the old smiley face. We'll have ourselves an emote battle here. So they hit us down to 10. Well, we're just smacking each other in the face. I don't think I'm gonna die here. Yeah, let's put out the mountain this time around. I'll show you mine if you show me yours, kind of situation. Oh, O'Hare. Does O'Hare kill me? No, it's close. Boom, down to 2. Opponent GG, my friend. This I don't know. What are we thinking? I don't have a thank you. Give him the old yip yip. I don't know. GG. Okay, this is kind of fun, right? You meet somebody right off the hop who's just emoticoning up things. I think we bring in the Kasari Revenants. That's what it's in the deck for. I don't know what else we want to be bringing in. Do I really want... I think it's just honestly the Kasari Revenants. It's fine. They're also not going to have graveyard hate, but I think things like Bloodghast, they are repetitive things. Maybe it's more like the Marauding Mako, the Inti. They're a little bit too vulnerable. They're just going to get hit very, very easily. But it's also our repetitive discard stuff. So I don't want to go down too much. Anyway, we'll go down 1 Mako. We'll go down 1 Inti. Try to avoid getting hit by their Pyroclasm. Try to avoid getting hit by their Burst Lightnings and Shocks and things like that. We'll go from there. See how it works. Opponent on the play this time around. And opening hand, we have the Cool but Rude. We have our mana. Maybe? We really need the Bloodghast and the Cool but Rude to be able to attack in. Or the Bloodghast to be able to attack in with the Cool but Rude on the field so I can start cycling through some of these more useless cards. But I think I'm willing to try it. Bolt Wave. I love it. I actually recently found a... Casey Jones pretty good. Casey Jones really good. I found a deck that was like full on burn, and I'm so curious to try it out. It seems like the opponent is on a similar type list. Okay, Bloodghast to the field. They can use their removal on the old Bloodghast all they want. I am all for that. Now, the timing here is a little bit awkward. I don't know when I'm going to be able to run out the Cool but Rude and the Casey Jones. I suppose we put the Cool but Rude on the field now. Probably shouldn't have put out the land. It's not really a big deal. Okay, they let us get the attack off. Okay, that's good. We get to at least cycle 1 of these lands. We do not want any more lands, really. The opponent very generously gifting me a land here, a redraw on the land. And I feel like I'm in pretty good position here. They say, oops, and I kind of agree. Oops. So let's do that. We get our Bloodghast back. It doesn't have haste. So Bloodghast, one thing I haven't mentioned yet is that it does get haste as long as your opponent has 10 or less life. They have 20. But we are gearing up to kind of cook them in the near future. In fact, I might be able to like really put some big damage on the opponent's face next turn. Oh, Burst Lightning, a little bit of a shame. But if the Burst Lightnings are going on to that creature, I'm kind of fine with it. So we will take our action here, put out that thing, put out the Casey Jones, draw 3 cards, and next turn the opponent is in trouble. They're gonna take 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. I think I do this. We do it now. This is so cool. 2 damage, 2 damage. Just to show you that you can do this, I'm going to re-equip it to the Bloodghast. Let's throw away the Requiting Hex. I don't care. 2 damage, and hands off the keyboard. We are just coasting. As long as the opponent doesn't hit us for 12 here, we're good. Casey Jones, if you don't know, Casey Jones says at the beginning of your next upkeep, discard 3 cards. This is something that's just hanging out over here. Even if the opponent, so we made the right choice. We made the right choice blasting the opponent. Casey Jones dead. Still, the trigger happens. We discard all of our cards. That is 6 2 damage triggers. Boom, 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 boom. And that is the coolest win I've actually ever had with the Cool But Rude to start off a video with. Oh my goodness. You love to see it. Next one. Game number 2 against Royale. Royale? How do you want to say it? Royale with cheese. Anyways, opening hand looks okay. We have our Desecrex. If we have a way of discarding the Bloodghast, that'll be pretty good. But even if it dies, we can just bring it back with all of our lands, because apparently our deck is really good at finding lands today. And hopefully we also find a way to get rid of the Gift of Servitude. And that way we can... Ooh, mirror match. Uh-oh. A little bit scared about that. No more lands. Please. Please, please, please. Either way, the point of my videos is to showcase these decks, right? One way or another, you're going to see the Cool But Rude deck do its thing here. That is a cool draw. That's a very good draw, in fact. Okie dokie. Let's attack. Boom, boom. Let's get rid of the Multiversal Passage. Pump up our Marauding Mako to a 2/2. If they want to trade... They can. They never do. Why would you? And we will just put the Blood Crypt onto the field. So next turn, we have a couple of options. What I would love to draw next turn is a creature. We just need a creature. And if we find a creature, we actually flood out the board pretty well. The opponent threw away a land. What do they hit on the Inti? It is a Marauding Mako. So probably they're going to have a red source to be able to put the Marauding Mako onto the field, I'm sure. Oh, there. Well, okay. Pretty cool. That worked out swimmingly for the opponent. We need a creature, please. Not a creature. Not, in fact, it was not a creature. Oh, so now I have to gamble. Do I throw away the Desecrex in hopes that I hit a creature here? No, there's no way. You can't do it. You throw away one of the Multiversal Passages. I actually, no, it didn't really matter. What we wanted to do was throw away the Desecrex. I don't know what I was thinking. I wanted something a little bit better. But Marauding Mako is actually kind of fine. We'll put that out, and I do think I'm going to put this also onto the field. So next turn, what we can do is we can Cool But Rude gamble and put the opponent in a pretty bad spot. We do have the Marauding Mako to block something if we get into a really funky position, but they are going to be doing damage with their Cool But Rude probably this turn, and their Inti is going to be trampling over us. So there's mana into Cool But Rude. They attack in. This is probably... Oh no, are we dead? Cool But Rude is such a dangerous card. I actually think I have to block. I have to block the Inti. Yeah. No, I'm dead. I'm dead. That's so what the opponent's doing is exactly what the Cool But Rude deck wants to do. I don't know if they see the line, but they have a line. That's fine. I have to block here and just hope that they don't know what they can do here. If they're a little bit newer to the deck, they might not realize that they can... No, don't look at the Bloodthorn Flail. They have technically 8 points of damage with the Bloodthorn Flail, and there was nothing I could do about it. All right, there it is. So they're going to equip it here. Boom, 2 damage. Good game. All right, I'm not going to make them click through things. Good game. There you go. That's what you want to do. The Bloodthorn Flail. Being a king. Okay, against this opponent, How good is Pyroclasm really going to be? I think on the play, maybe not so bad because we can maybe hit things before they go too wide. The problem is after they start building up a few creatures, this card loses so much value, right? Like once the Marauding Mako gets up to a 3/3 or Inti gets up to a 3/3, what is it really doing? So is it actually just bad? I don't know. But I'm gonna try it. I actually haven't played the mirror too many times here, so I don't really know how well it's gonna go. We'll go down one into one Marauding Mako because we are bringing in our Pyroclasm. I don't want to have too many things on the field that I might end up blasting on my own. We'll see. This might just, in the end, be a complete mistake to bring in that card. Okay. Well, all right. Not so bad. So do I take the risk of running out the Moonshadow first? And I think the answer is probably yes. It gets hit, it gets hit. Let's just hope they don't have the removal for it. Fear of missing out is actually good. And do I really need 2 Cool But Rudes? I think I only need 1. Pyroclasm. Pyroclasm could end up being pretty big right here because we can get our Moonshadow up to a 3 toughness creature. I'm fear of missing out 3 toughness. And if I can blast something, be good. I feel like they're on a Bitter Triumph though. Yeah. Bitter Triumph for the Moonshadow. Okay, so now we do the Cool But Rude Bloodthorn Flail plan, and we hit them down to 16, and then we will... Probably don't need this, right? Hey, Bloodghast, pretty good. Pretty good. Hopefully we can get a little bit of value here. If they end up putting out a few creatures, not that one, with 2 toughness, maybe we could have made something really big work there. So from here, what do we want to see? Maybe a land? It's not a land. Moonshadow. Level this up. Put out the Moonshadow. Let's discard the Bloodghast, and we will attack in. The opponent, I think, with a bit of a premature concede there. So now being on the play, or on the draw, rather, the opponent on the play, I'm not sure how good the Pyroclasms are really going to end up being. Is it just better to bring in the Strategic Betrayals? Maybe now? Go down all the Pyroclasms. This way we can kind of hit their Flamewake Phoenix. We can keep them off of creatures pretty well. I just think that the Pyroclasm, like on the play in my head, it kind of makes sense that maybe you could get a cheeky Pyroclasm off early if they go on turn 2, you know, creature or something like that. But I think on the draw, maybe it's just like a little bit too slow. And also, they probably have Iron Shield Alpha. Maybe Pyroclasm is just bad. I'm just going back and forth in my head about it, and I don't really know. Don't know what to do. Marauding Mako out. Our mana base is going to hurt us quite a bit. Fear missing out is good. We can't really do anything about that. I suppose what I can do is put this on the field, put the Iron Shield Elf on the field, and attack in with the Marauding Mako and say, hey, opponent, do you want to trade? I think all day, right? This one? Yeah. I'm okay with this. Boom. So 1 card I want in the graveyard, 1 card I don't really mind putting in the graveyard. And now with this Hex and the Blood... Ooh. I'm going to be discarding something anyways. So let's do this. And there's an example of the Bloodthorn, or sorry, the Pyroclasm not really paying off. That's good. Oh, and I threw away the Bloodthorn Flail. So the opponent definitely outplayed me there. I needed the Bloodthorn Flail. To be able to get a 4 toughness creature on the field to get back my bird. And that's a bad draw. Dang, I might have thrown with that right there. If we had an Iron Shield Elf that was a 5/2 attacker here, we could have been in so much better shape. Okay, but the opponent not in a good spot. What do we have in our graveyard? Creature, artifact, instant. So if I pitch the Blood Crypt, I do get double attacks. How does this work? I gotta read it. Whenever this creature attacks for the first time each turn, if there are 4 more creature card types among cards in your graveyard, untap target creature. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. Okay. Let's do that. We untap our boy here. And so we will at least get in for a little bit of damage. Now, the Inti is going to be a pretty good attacker from the opponent because it's going to be giving them extra card options here. Was it really worth it to do it that way? I don't know. Maybe I should have just attacked with both and then discarded if they blocked on something. Cool but rude. We are at 17 though. That's what we need right now. We need the cool but rude. Man, that Requiting Hex really, really dunked on me, actually. So what do we want to find? Desecrex would be pretty cool. Desecrex would be really cool. Like, maybe best draw in the deck. Which is why I think in the intro I said that I'm thinking that I probably want more Desecrexes in the deck because it's just such an insane card. Now, the opponent is taking 8 points of damage here. If we find the Bloodthorn Flail, we can kill them. Blood Crypt for the opponent. And they have the Blood Crypt onto the field. Okay, something good. Cool but rude. Doesn't do it, but it's still a good card to put onto the field, right? Now, am I allowed to attack here? Definitely I can attack once. But yeah. Am I just attacking boom, boom, putting the blood? How much damage can they possibly do next turn? They can do so much damage to me. So I actually, man, I don't know. I don't actually know. We don't have anything that's triggering. That's triggering. I don't think I'm allowed to attack. I think I need to hold the Iron Shield Elf as a blocker. It's not a good blocker though because the Inti is going to be getting trample, and I think probably we're just done. We just kind of drew a little bit too badly here. They get a lot of value out of their cool but rude, and we are going to take so much damage now. Now we're so dead. Actually, they probably can't get the Inti up to 4 power yet. Do they load up their Restless Fence? Like, they have so much damage. I think I probably would have loaded up the Restless Fence here. Marauding Mako. Okay. So they attack in. How much damage is actually coming at me? Just 3? That's fine. Go to damage. Okay. And now we level this up to level 2. Do I want to... Am I supposed to put the land out, take 2 damage, level this up to level 3? That's going to be 2. No, I need the cards in hand because I need to discard 1 card to keep my Iron Shield Elf alive. And I need to... only need 1 card in hand. No, I need the cards to be able to discard the card. So I think I need to just attack like this. Yep. Untap the Iron Shield Elf. We throw away the Inti. It's never going to do anything. 2 damage to the face. They have to block there. We give it indestructible. We do 2 more damage. Yeah, they're dead. Wow, we just get there. Wait, what? Why didn't this untap? Oh, that's cute. Oh, that's cute. Why did the opponent concede? We had the win. So I made definitely a mistake there. So was it supposed to be doing the double combat on the fear of missing out? Maybe? because what happened was I attacked with the Iron Shield Elf at the start of combat. I untapped it so that it would get a different combat, but then I tapped it to gain indestructible. So I guess what you need to do is you need to go to combat. You need to respond to the fear of missing out's delirium ability. With that on the stack, then you tap down your Iron Shield Elf to give it indestructible. And then it will untap when the other one resolves, and then it doesn't matter, it'll be an indestructible attacker that will attack twice. So I definitely learning something there about the interaction between these two creatures, something to keep in mind if you ever do play that. But yeah, I guess there is probably some way of ordering things a little bit differently with these two creatures. But what we would have just done is put out the Multiversal Passage on red, leveled up the Cool But Rude, gambled, and then we would have done one more point of damage to the opponent. But they didn't know that. So weird scoop. In the intro, I did say that I have been reluctant to record this deck. And the reason I've been reluctant to record this deck is because the deck is a little bit hard to play. And I know I'm going to keep messing up things when I'm playing this deck. And that's why I felt like I needed extra practice. There are some decks later on. I think I'm also going to be playing Allies this week. I've been itching to play some Allies, even though I know a lot of people don't really watch that video or care about that tribe. I like the Allies. I've been playing them in my free time, but that's a deck that I could just like jump in and record a video of with at any time, because it's, you know, it's a pretty easy deck for most people to pilot. But like a deck like this, oh boy, I feel like I need to get in so many reps, just keep practicing it over and over and over again. Hey, are we seeing turn 1 Llanowar Elf into turn 2 Badger Mole Cub? It's been a minute. Oh, there we go. Let's see the cub. Oh, it's a Mossborn Hydra. That's terrifying. Okay, let's go out with the Inti. The Inti was a pretty good draw there. So we do get to attack in, and we get to discard our Flamewake Phoenix. We will put the +1/+1 counter maybe on the Marauding Mako this time around, so it will be a 4/4. And we hit the Bloodghast. Not good. Bloodghast bad. Bloodghast confirmed bad. I think it's okay for me to put the Swamp on the field, though. We need mana for our Flamewake Phoenixes to be able to come out next turn. We might be able to kill them. We'll see. We have quite a bit of damage on the board. They have the... Ooh, mama. Archdruid's Charm, pretty good there, and they're going to be hitting us possibly with an 8/8. We really needed the Inti. They should probably hold the Mossborn Hydra back as a blocker. Come on. I was going to say, most people are so like gung-ho about attacking with an 8/8 Hydra. Our opponent, though, was a clever one. So now I can't really attack in. What I can do, though, is I can bring back both of my Flamewake Phoenixes and set up for maybe a future kill on the opponent. Do I want to put the Bloodthorn Flail on the field? And I think the answer is probably yes. All right. How big can this Mossborn Hydra get? Does it OTK me? That's one land. Nah, I guess it's not an OTK because I did 2 points of damage at one point. But you get what I mean. Can they get it up to 32? Are you a Giga Chad flipper? Oh, what a gamer. You did what? You failed your removal check? You didn't have the removal when your opponent played one card and then just did their land drops? What a stupid card. It's been a little while since I've been murdered by a Mossborn Hydra, but I guess I deserve that because I was only running technically 2 cards in the deck that could kill it. I'm not bitter. Let's bring in Bitter Triumph, appropriately named. And I also think I'm going to be bringing in the Pyroclasms to hopefully wipe out the opponent's annoying things. I'm going to go down my Bloodghast. I think they're a little bit mid. I know they're the card that you can pitch reliably, but they're not really going to do enough, and then they're just going to get hit by this Pyroclasm. We'll go down one Flamewake Phoenix as well, and I guess we'll go down one Flail, I suppose. What we need to do is we need to make sure that the opponent doesn't have a whole bunch of Mana Dorks on the field, a bunch of Badger Mole Cubs, and hopefully we can hit a Hydra without them giving it hexproof. We don't have any of our tech, but it's a good enough opening hand that I think maybe we can get the Cool Butt Root plus Casey Jones going and end up smacking them down. The problem is the Hydra on turn 2 or turn 3, it just gets out of control so quickly, so you don't really have a game of Magic. You just have, again, you have the removal check. If you played MMOs or whatever, you know, you have like damage checks or whatever in dungeons. It's like, do you have enough damage to actually beat this enemy? Show me. Otherwise, you're dead. We'll put out the Cool Butt Root. We'll attack in with the Marauding Mako, and I will throw away a Bloodmire Verge to draw a less favorable multiversal passage. Hopefully something that Casey Jones will just happily discard in the future. I think probably what we'll do is we'll level up Cool Butt Root to level 2. And so this is fine. It's so fine. People bring in Graveyard Hate. If they're spending a turn doing Graveyard Hate against our deck, I am all for it because it doesn't really hurt us. Oh, we have Bloodghast, we have the Flamewake Phoenixes. We took them out because we were kind of expecting that, right? So you can end up kind of tricking the opponents into bringing in Graveyard Hate when you're playing this deck because people just assume that it's a graveyard deck. We're a discard deck, baby. Yeah, let's keep this train going. Get the Marauding Mako up to a 6, do another 2 points of damage. Like, this is so much damage coming in on the opponent on turn 3. And it's all because, well, it's not all because, but it really helps that they maybe kept a hand with a Soul Guide Lantern, thinking that it was going to do a lot against us. Earthbender Ascension. That's good because we don't have Trample. But what we do have is Casey Jones. They know what's happening. Okay. I think I like the way that everything is. We'll run it back and hopefully similar thing happens where they just bring in a little bit of Graveyard Hate and are distracted for turns 2, 3, and 4 so we can smack them down. All right, Flipper, what do you got? How deep am I into this video, by the way? How 30 minutes? 30, probably about 37, 38 minutes. Am I going to go 4 games or 3 games? Playable? Nope. That's playable, right? We don't need 2 Cool Butt Root. We love having 2 Cool Butt Root, but we definitely don't need 2. The opponent also mulliganed down. They had their Shaz's Chocobo. What did I say about Cool Butt Root? That could be a little bit of a problem because it might be enough aggression for us if we're not finding our requiting hexes or any pyroclasms to be able to take out things. Man, pyroclasm off the top would be so good. Moonshadow. Moonshadow it is. So I suppose we throw our Iron Shield Elf onto the field. Next turn, what we can do is we can load up the Bloodthorn Flail onto the Iron Shield Elf to give it enough power and bring back the Flamewake Phoenix. And we can also put the Moonshadow on the field before doing all those things. Pyroclasm now doesn't do anything against the Shaz's Chocobo. It'd be kind of fun if they decided to challenge my So now they have a 4/5 Chocobo. This little thing, such a menace, right? It ends up doing so much damage over the course of the game, and it's so innocuous. Is that the right word? You don't really want to hit a 0/1 with removal, but boy, oh boy, does it ever get out of control fast. You know what? I don't really want to take 4 damage, and do I really care here about keeping a Cool Butt Rude? Yeah, we'll block. Discard the Flamewake Phoenix, give it indestructible. Chocobo bounces off of our big old shield. Okay, so Moonshadow, why not load up the Iron Shield Elf with the Cool But Rude discarded? And the question is, do I really want to put out the Cool But Rude? We're definitely bringing back this, so we're not putting out the Cool but Rude. Am I attacking in? I think I have to. So we are going to take quite a bit of damage on the backswing here. Ooh, I'm okay with that. They're afraid. So their card in hand is probably not overly favorable. That's more damage. That's so much more damage with the Earthbender Ascension. I think we're just not winning this one. We need to draw a little bit better than we did. And yeah, we need to find the removal. Makes me wonder if I should have more Requiting Hexes in the sideboard. We only played 2 in the main. But often our deck can kind of just like make creatures that are big enough that make the opponent block unfavorably. And the result of that is it kind of acts as removal. But against the landfall deck, with them gaining so much value from things like Earthbender Ascension and the landfall triggers, like these creatures just get so pumped. Do they have another Archdruid's Charm? Feels like it, right? They're saving it for next turn. Desecrate's cool. Not good enough. So we're dead? I think we're dead. I have to attack with the Flamewake Phoenix. I'll throw away this. The thing is, they're going to get trample next turn. Ooh. Well, Bitter Triumph is not going to keep me alive, but it's possible that if they don't have a land... Save it. Man, I don't know about you, but when I play a landfall deck, I don't find my fetch lands. All right, GG opponent. They're going to trample over us. We didn't have enough to stop their attacks. And I think probably because we got slammed so hard there, am I going to try one more? All right, be careful against Mono Green Landfall. You guys know it. Mono Green Landfall is the top dog in the format right now. I think, oh, great. Overall, great. Come on. Come on. Come on. Overall, that deck is just so powerful. What do you throw away here? So you kind of have to keep Inti. You have to probably keep the Bloodthorn Flail. Casey Jones is good. You have to throw away 2 cards. You throw away removal, not knowing if your opponent is going to have creatures that you need to remove, probably. And then it's either, I think it's got to be like this, right? We need the Inti. You know what? Maybe it's actually not the Bloodthorn Flail because we have so much discard with the Inti and the Cool but Rude. So I think it's probably throwing away that. And now I'm kind of wondering if the Bitter Triumph is better than the Casey Jones. Casey Jones, I don't know. Inti needs to do a lot of heavy lifting in this matchup. So next turn we can put it out on turn 2. And then hopefully exile some good stuff that we can maybe get a little bit of extra value out of. They are probably playing Cub. We mulliganed. We mulliganed down to 5. And the opponent hit us with a main board Pyroclasm. What did I do? Okay, Casey Jones I think actually has to go now. What did I do? Why? Who did I make angry? What's that? Who's doing best of 3 main board Pyroclasm? Nobody does that. It worked. When it works, it works. My goodness, what a risky card to be playing main board. All right. Well, we are on the Cool but Rude plan. Let's start cycling through things. I have a feeling this Requiting Hex is not going to do a dang thing for my deck. Honestly, not bad, because we do get to level this up now. And now we are in Desecrex range. We actually haven't seen Desecrex yet. Quantum Riddler, are they going to bounce the Quantum Riddler? Are you going to be a real gamer? It's not real, right? Like who's playing Origins of Metal Bending and Pyroclasm main board in best of 3? Hey, come on, this is sure. I mean, that's actually not the worst thing for me. And then what did they do there? Okay. I just, you know, sometimes opponents do things that really make you question, like, are not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. Let's keep both of the lands in hand, I suppose. Maybe it was right to play one of them so that I could get up to this gamble. Maybe not. I don't know. Just sus. It's so sus. Apparently, this person has been hurt by people playing this Cool But Rude deck. And they have Spell Snare for the Cool But Rude. Like, this deck is so tuned to beat Cool But Rude. Why? Cool But Rude is not really an overly competitive deck, right? I guess it probably, these cards maybe are okay against, they're also good against Lessons, or not Lessons, Landfall, right? Which is the key there. This sucks because what ends up happening here is they have the Into the Flood Maw. I'm leveling up my Cool But Rude, and they're just gonna bounce it. So I'm gonna do what I can. Hopefully they don't draw more stuff, but they are kind of running hot, drawing a ton of cards. They have so much power on the board, and I just don't know if I can even beat like this main board tech that they have running. Man, I must sound salty. How can you not sound salty when that happens, right? On a mull to 5, mind you. Yay, Sakura knows something that I don't know. Also, I don't know, bouncing the Fear of Missing Out instead of bouncing, they can bounce the Cool But Rude. They just have to give me a fish. Like, it's fine. I don't see why you wouldn't do that. That's a choice. It was a choice. So, I can take a big gamble here. I'm going to take the big gamble. We're going for it. We need to hit the 50-50 here on the Desecrix. Yeah, I'm still gambling. I think it's actually fine no matter what. But what I want is the Desecrix to be discarded here. Did I know that they had another one? I'm not sure if I knew that information or not. Okay. Okay, I guess. All right, we'll pass it. Scalding Viper too, main board, like, oh boy. Somebody hurt this person. Somebody hurt this person. That's for certain. Is this only whenever an opponent? It's so good. Whenever an opponent casts a card. I have never, I'm going to say it, I've never once in my entire life seen an opponent's cards line up so well. Again, I know I've made the joke, but it's like they're just, what do I need in this spot? Oh, I'm going to reach into the bag, grab that one. Yeah. Smuggler's Surprise. My creatures are at 4 toughness now. I guess I should have known that that was the case. I would have not let that happen. Oh, we're dead, right? We're just like straight up dead. We take trample damage. Whatever. This is so scuffed. Yeah, sure. Unbelievable running from the opponent. Unbelievable. I don't think they could be living in a more fairy tale-esque land. Let's bring in the Duresses. Do I want to also bring in the Tokas? Because they do plot some stuff. Like, plotting seems like it could be okay. No, I don't think this card is going to be good enough in this matchup. But probably the Strategic Betrayals are going to be fine. Man, this is just such a bad time for me. I don't think my deck can even beat this deck. Not if the opponent is conjuring up every single card that they possibly need. Okay, at least give us 7 cards off the start. Play first. It's not. This, man, I tell you, this deck loves drawing 1 land hands. Okay, it's 2. It's fine. What are we getting rid of? I think we're getting rid of the strategic betrayal, and we're going to go with our aggression. We're going to see if this can work. We can go Fear of Missing Out, pitching the Flamewake Phoenix. We need the Fear of Missing Out to survive so that I can put the Bloodthorn Flail onto it. And then attack in with it. Do they have a null? I swear, if they have a null, I'm just rage quitting. It's not a null. Yeah, they had the Spell Snare. We knew they had Spell Snare. Which, yeah, you hold it. I'm so tilted. I don't know if I've ever been more tilted against an opponent. Whatever. Cool but rude. Spell Snare 2. Yeah. We're crashing, boys. Oh, the Origin of Metal Bending. Why not? Why not have it? And then we're going to draw lands. I may as well put this out and take a little bit less damage. This is so stupid. I'm down to 1 card. I have the Flamewake Phoenix tacking in for 2. Do they also have a way of dealing with this? Imagine a strategic betrayal out of no black mana. I could see it happening. Okay. We're dead. They bounce it? Yeah, that's fine. I think that's very liberal use of their resources. I would definitely say that. Desecrate's okay. So we get to bring back Fear of Missing Out. We get to pitch the Flamewake Phoenix. We get to play out that. We get to play the Phoenix. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good... That's what you want to see the deck doing. That's pretty great. But in the face of God, what do you really do? Scalding Viper, returning the Desecrates. I'm not so fine with that. So we have to attack with the Fear of Missing Out, which is fine. So if they trade the Outcaster Trailblazer, that would have been really good. Instead, they just let it die. It goes to graveyard, right? So let's jam Desecrates one more time. Get back the Fear of Missing Out. That's cool. And a cool but rude. You jam it. 100% of the time you jam it right into the 3rd Spell Snare. Yeah. Give me a break. Oh, give me a break. Come on, game. How? Oh my God, they're too cool. I mean, but that doesn't... I don't care about that. Okay, let's attack. They're just kind of delaying with these bounce spells. They let the damage go through. So, let's duress our boy. Let's see what the last card is over. What is God playing with? God is playing with a Smuggler's Surprise. How dare you? And we get to pull back the Fear of Missing Out. It now has Delirium. That's interesting. And they are top decking. They have a Scalding Viper. Outcaster Trailblazer. Not bad. Not bad. The thing is, they don't have a lot of toughness. All right. Maybe we've been able to claw our way back into this one. We untap the Flamewake Phoenix, I think, right? They're going to have to put a bunch of stuff in front of everything. Do they even have enough damage? Yeah, they can mitigate enough damage. They have to put their whole board in front of Desecrates, though. No, they die, right? This kills them. Interesting. What an interesting game. This is shaping up to be quite the ending. We fought back through some pretty good tech from the opponent, but I'm telling you, I need to put one more Desecrates in here. This card is just too great. I don't know if I have it in me to beat Yay Sakura. I'm not strong enough. I'll try it. I don't know. Duress, I think, is actually maybe pretty mid in this matchup, but at least it's going to tell us whether or not we're going to be playing into their Spell Snares. Okay, Winter Night Stories, Smuggler's Surprise, and Esper Origins. I think you have to take the Esper or everything is so good. Do you take the Esper Origins? Probably. Okay. It stops them from kind of fixing the top of their library. Then next turn we can get the Fear of Missing Out onto the field. Ghost Vacuum is fine. So there's the graveyard hate that sometimes opponents bring in against us. We don't really mind it too much. Probably I should put out the Blood Crypt there. Just take the 2 damage. I think it would have been fine. And then starting town on turn 3. Cool but Rude, very good. If they don't have ways of bouncing, maybe this Cool but Rude can start chipping in damage. They can start eating stuff from our graveyard all they want. And I guess they play out the Trailblazer, which we can't really do anything against. No, they just plot it. Well, it gives us the opening. So probably it's this into this into this. Use your Ghost Vacuum. Just, you know you're going to do something. Just eat something. I guess you do wait, because I might be throwing something pretty yummy into the graveyard for them to get. We will throw away the Multiversal Passage. It's useless. Grow up our Marauding Mako. Casey Jones, my boy, showing up. This card, I wish were a Bitter Triumph right now, because they're going to get the Trailblazer outcast onto the field, and that might make things a little bit difficult for me in the near future. Now, they might use the Winter Night Stories to tap down. No. Okay, they're going Esper Origins route. So now they have a 4/4 and a 4/2 on the field. And we are kind of all in on hoping that they don't have a way of bouncing the Cool But Rude, because if they bounce the Cool But Rude, we are in trouble. So I have to do this. What is the mana cost on this? This is actually hexable, isn't it? Yeah, let's hit it. Boom. Okay. And then do I attack in throwing away my Flamewake Phoenix into the Ghost Vacuum? That's what's going to end up happening here. Maybe that's okay. Next turn, we're definitely going to be going out Casey Jones and trying to get maximum damage in on the opponent. I don't really want to throw away my Blood Crypt. But the Flame... No, I think I need the Flamewake Phoenix on the field. So the question is, like, is there really an attack here? Maybe there's an attack just with the Fear of Missing Out. I'm going to throw the Blood Crypt. Sure. It's fine. We're going to grow our Marauding Mako big enough so that they're going to be tempted to bounce it with their Into the Flood Maws, I suppose. They let that damage through. I think you do every single time, because you want to draw cards with the Outcast or Trailblazer, which means I probably should have attacked with the Marauding Mako as well. I don't know. I wasn't brave enough. Probably it was a double attack there. They take some damage. Why did they take damage there? What does Smuggler's Surprise cost them 2, right? Yeah, minimum 2, because 1 + 1. So they only have 1 mana available to themselves, and it's not blue mana. So I think that attack in was very weird to me. Flamewake Phoenix allows me to start attacking in over their head. And I think that's probably fine. So let's do that. Moonshadow, something for them to eat now. And we just want to get them low enough that this Cool But Rude, when we start discarding a whole bunch of stuff, actually kills them. I really need, like, repeatable discard. So they have a ton of mana. We could probably get combo killed here. Imagine they just spent the time to crack this. That would be so good. Oh, I'd be so fine with that. There's no world in which they would do that, but wouldn't it be wonderful to dream? You have to imagine at this point they're going to do something pretty insane. They have 2, 4, 6, 8 mana available to them. The Summon Esper Monduin is going to be triggering next turn. So if they put a bunch of creatures onto the field... No. Okay. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 damage. We have to chump block. But now we're kind of in an interesting position. Oh, no, they get mana. I forget that the Trailblazers make them mana. So they have 3 more mana. They have the Scalding Viper that they can use to bounce something, which would probably be the Marauding Mako. That's a Teamer Battle Crier. Okay, so they're not out of mana. They still have the Breeding Pool. Man, I don't play against this deck nearly enough to have a good gauge on how it ends up winning. Another Trailblazer, why not? Oh, so they can just kind of play out their entire hand, right? Because the Teamer Battlecrier gives them a discount, and now with this, they generate one more mana, so they can probably just keep going and going and going. What a tough third, fourth game, I guess, right? Tough one. Tough one. Okay. Oh, it's free. It's free. Okay. It reduces the cost of everything. During your turn, spells you cast cost 1 generic less to cast for each 4 CMC creature you have. 4 toughness? 4 power. 4 power creature. How did I get it wrong? Twice. There's the cool but rude. So we needed that. That was our only real hope of winning. They swing for just 12. We take 12 damage. Fine. But we needed the cool but rude on the field at level 2 to be able to maybe even have a slight glimmer of hope of winning here. Now, what would be a good card off the top? Bloodthorn Flail might make things interesting. Bloodthorn Flail, one time. I'm pretty sure I took one out. I think there were only 3 in the deck. One time, no problem. Bloodthorn Flail. Actually, it doesn't do anything because I need 5 mana, not 3 mana, to be able to level up the cool but rude. Being able to bounce cool but rude, absolutely devastating. Well, I'm just gonna see one more draw. I'm not gonna wait through the opponent doing their big combo turn next turn. I think we're cooked, but we'll see what we can do. Bloodthorn Flail. It's not. There's not enough damage, right? There's just not enough damage. It's actually kind of close. So instant sorcery. So we can equip this onto that, discarding. I have to actually discard the cool but rude as well, which is fine because the cool but rude is not doing anything. But I don't think this really does anything. It gets them down. It gets them down. Oh, imagine if we had it on the field. That was the card that would have let us win. It's such a heartbreaker because we were right there. We were right there. Are we just discarding the entire hand? I think so. Just for the sake of doing it. Get our Marauding Mako a little bit bigger. I mean, it's all very irrelevant. Sure. I'm a heartbroken boy. Discard a card. Oh, no. We probably didn't have it anyways because they have double, triple vacuums. They can make sure that we don't have Delirium if they're smart. I mean, all of this is for... they got rid of the last creature. GG, opponent. It was a tough one for me. Oh, man. Real rough. I think we could have maybe mustered up something, but how do you beat the draws? And like, they drew so many cards. They're down to 25 cards to my 43. Tough. All right, so the game's not really playing out as ideally as they have been this week, playing this deck in my own time, and which is the case. Sometimes you run into some tough opponents. Man, oh man, getting hit by the Hydra. What are you going to do when the Hydra comes for your face and when the little Chocobos also come for your face? And then when you run into somebody running, I'm going to be bitter about it all day. Pyroclasm, Origins of the Metal Bender in the main board. Give me a break. I'm tilted. I'll admit it. But the deck is cool. The deck is like so actually hard to play. I believe this deck is, maybe it's just not something that I'm too used to, but there are so many like little lines that can be taken to find a win. And like in that last game, had they not had the Into the Flood mod to bounce the Cool but Rude, I'm pretty sure we had the win with that Bloodthorn Flail off the top because we could have pinged them for so much damage. So like the deck definitely works in a way where you want to be getting in some little damage here and there, but then you want to eventually build up to that Cool but Rude, discard your entire hand, and just win on the spot. So a little bit of a combo element to the deck overall. Still, I think the makeup of the deck is good. I really want one more Desecrix. This card is such an all-star, especially in the main board. Maybe game 2 and 3, you take out one Desecrix because you're going to be running into a whole bunch of Graveyard Hate, as we saw in these matchups. But like the Graveyard Hate is not too damning. And I think for game one, having an extra Desecrex that you can go and gamble, the fact that you can go gamble it with the Cool But Rude level 3 does so much for the deck. So that's one thing I would like to change about the deck. I don't know what card I would be slotting out for it, but I want to have more of these fellas in here. Otherwise, that's it. Let me know. This deck, I've been playing so many different variations of it. If you've been having success with a different version of the Cool But Rude deck, do let me know, because I would love to see what other people are doing with this deck. And if you saw any glaring misplays, do point them out down in the comments. This one probably ended up going a little bit long with that last game, but hey, I wanted to get that last one in, and it ended up being at least an interesting game. Take care for now, Sanang Ipana, and I will catch all of you wonderful people in the next video. Bye-bye.